may proceed whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. People with developmental disabilities rely on direct service staff for care, for supervision, training, and support to make community living possible. Today, the turnover rate of direct service staff is far too high due to the low wages they are paid for this critical work. Professionalization of this workforce through opportunities of enhanced training and certification will not only enhance provider retention, but also will create a pathway for upward career movement. AB 1417 will give them that opportunity by requiring the Community College Chancellor's Office to develop a model curriculum for a certification program for providers of care for individuals with developmental disabilities that will be offered at community colleges and their campuses. I respectfully ask for your aye vote and have with me today in support Steve Miller, consultant of the Los Angeles Coalition of Service Providers, and Linda Plord, Executive Director of Bayberry Incorporated, a nonprofit agency that offers supported living services and residential supports to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Thank you, Assemblymember Frazier. AT&T moderator, the first lead witness to call in for AB 1470 is Mr. Steve Miller, consultant for the LA Coalition of Service Providers. Mr. Miller, please proceed with your testimony when you are ready.
Thank you. My name is Steve Miller, representing the Los Angeles Coalition of Service Providers. There is a body of evidence-based best practices proven to be effective in assisting adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities to learn the complex skills they need to reach their goals for competitive employment and a high quality of community life. Unfortunately, these best practice skills are not widely available to the personnel working in the field, delivering direct instruction and supports to people with intellectual disabilities. This is because California lacks a process to systematically deliver this knowledge and skill set to its direct support workforce to provide these essential services. The results of this training gap are evident in California's poor record of employment for people with intellectual disabilities who have a labor force participation rate under 20%. This is not acceptable for a state committed to the policy of employment first. To really take the goals of employment and community living seriously, we must develop the means to put these tried and true support tools in the hands of the direct support professionals we employ to get the job done and compensate them sufficiently to allow them to remain in these important positions. A community college-based training and certification process with a commensurate wage for certificate holders would be an excellent solution to this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. AT&T moderator, the second lead witness to call for AB 1417 is Ms. Linda Plordy, Executive Director for the Bayberry Incorporated. Ms. Plordy, please proceed with your testimony when you are ready.
Thank you, Chair Medina, Assemblymember Frazier, and members of this committee. I am Linda Plord, Executive Director of Bayberry. Professionalizing and rightfully acknowledging direct support professionals is long overdue. Currently, the U.S. Congress has introduced House Resolution 6045 and Senate Bill 3369, both requiring the U.S. Department of Labor to assign a standard occupational classification specifically for DSPs. AB 1417 strongly supports these efforts. In order to efficiently establish and implement a comprehensive curriculum through the community college system, we must consider the following three brief points. One, providers of service, regional centers, and DDS must be included in conversations with legislators and community colleges to ensure a person-centered and community-based orientation to the curriculum. Two, the majority of DSPs are women and people of color who hold two jobs, are single parents, and on Medi-Cal. Therefore, to ensure adequate enrollment, both in-person and online class options for this curriculum are critical for ease of attending. And last, three, continued focus on increased training must result in higher compensation to DSPs, particularly in light of the Burns & Associates rate study findings, informing us of a significantly underfunded system statewide. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Plordy. We will now move to public comment. See no witnesses in the back of the chamber in support, nor in opposition, or any tweeners. We'll move to the phone lines. AT&T moderator, are there any witnesses in support on the phone or in the queue?
Thank you. To state your position of support for AB 1417 or 1417, you may press 1 then 0 on your phone. Again, support for AB 1417, please press 1 0. We'll go first to the line of 98. 98, your line is open.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Gregory Kramer on behalf of Disability Rights California in support of AB 1417. Thank you.
Next, we have the line of 169. 169, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Teresa Anderson with the ARC and UCP California Collaboration in support.
We do have an additional line in queue. One moment, please. Go to line 162. 162, your line is open.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Singh, and I am in support.
Thank you. There are no other lines in queue at this time.
Mr. Moderator, do we have any witnesses in opposition?
Queue to state your position of opposition to AB 1417. Please press 1 followed by 0. Again, that's opposition for AB 1417. We do have one line in queue. It'll be one moment, please. We have line 167. They're not quite available. One moment. The line is for support, Mr. Chair. Would you like to move on to tweeners for AB 1417?
We can hear that one.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to line 167. 167, your line is open.
Yeah, I'm Abby. This is I'm a mom of an 18-year-old son on the autism spectrum, and I support the bill. There are over 280,000 individuals.
Thank you. Mr. Moderator, if we have any witnesses in opposition?
Thank you. If you'd like to state opposition to AB 1417, please press 1-0. There are no lines in queue.
And any witnesses that are tweeners?
Your position is tweener for AB 1417. You press 1 then 0 on your phone. 1-0 if your position is tweener for AB 1417. Thank you. There are no lines in queue at this time.
All right. We will now move to the committee. Any questions or comments from the committee? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to thank the offer for this really thoughtful and needed bill. My work as a special needs advocate, I've learned that whether you are a young mom of a child with Down syndrome, looking for childcare, having this program, really looking at developing the workforce is important for young moms. It's also important for older parents who have a child on the autism spectrum that are also want to know that their child is being taken care of, or their adult child is being taken care of. Or if you're an individual who has autism, Down syndrome, or any other developmental disability, knowing that the person that is there for you during your day has the skills to meet your challenges and be a part of your successes and help create opportunities is vital for our special needs community. So I applaud you on this bill and would love to be a co-author if you'd have me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Frazier, if you'd like to close?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you. As I brought this idea to you, you encouraged me and you enabled me to work with your wonderful staff who brought this to fruition. Without you and your staff, this would have never happened, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. From my colleague who just made statements, you had me at hello. I look forward to working with you on this wonderful opportunity for the development of the disabled in California. We need more champions in Sacramento, and I encourage you to dig deep and work hard also. With that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. And I want to thank the author for bringing this bill forward. I know how much the developmental disability community means to you, and all the work that you've done. I want to acknowledge that, all the work that you've done in the years that you've been here. I agree that the developmental disability community deserves the best support that we can give them. The transition for state-run care to community-level care requires new levels of training and education for providers. Moving forward, I know that your staff will continue to collaborate with the Community College Chancellor's Office and the Community College Academic Senate to identify the best way to develop this program. My recommendation, once we have a quorum, is do pass. And again, thank you, Mr. Frazier, for bringing this bill forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues.